So the thing we need to figure out here is, when do we use the law of sines, when do we use the law of cosines? And this tells you the law of cosines is the best choice if either of these two things. So case one, the length of all three sides of a triangle are known and you're trying to find an angle. So if you don't know all three side lengths and you want to find an angle, then use the cosine law. And it's the one that looks like,
So if you're trying to find cosine A, you go
cos A,
plus C squared
yeah.
minus A squared over 2BC.
Right. It's this form of the cosine law. If you're given all three side lengths and you want to find an angle. Cosine law is also the best choice if two sides and the enclosed angle are known. So you look at this one, you have this side, and where those two sides meet up, you also have that angle. That makes it the enclosed angle. So two sides and then the angle in between those two sides that you know, then that's the cosine law. But that's the other form of the cosine law, right? It's the a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. So those are the two situations where you would use the cosine law. If you have all three sides, or if you have two sides and the enclosed angle. Law of sines is the best choice if, and these are the next two cases, case 3 and case 4, two sides and an angle opposite one of those sides is known, and you're trying to find the other angle. So here we have these two sides, but we don't have the enclosed angle, so it's not going to be cosine law. You have one of the other angles. And really, to use the sine law, what I'm looking for is this angle side pair, where you have an angle and the side length across from it. If you have that pair, then you can use the sine law. A side length and its opposite angle. For cosine law, you're not going to have that. You're not going to have a side angle pair opposite each other. But this one, yeah, two side lengths and one angle, then you can use the sine law to find the other angle. Or case 4, two angles and one side are known, and you're trying to find the missing side. But again, we're looking for that pair. 15 and 22, that's a pair, opposite angle side. Pair, but two angles and one side length. Then you use the law of sines. And it says here in the bottom, in general, law of sines is easier to use. Most people find it easier to use. So always check to see if you can use it first. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's easier to use the sine law, but what I will tell you is if you don't know which one to use, try one of them. If it doesn't work, then you have to use the other one. So it's good to know when to use each one, but really, if you can't remember and you're looking at one and going, I don't know which one to use here, then just try to use the sine law or try to use the cosine law. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then use the other one. And you'll know right away if it works because you'll have all the information that you need to fill in. Or you can find all of the information. You know, you could have something like this, which doesn't really fit one of those cases. A triangle like this where you have, let's say this is 60 degrees and this one's 58 degrees. And you have this, you want to find this, no, let's see, because that would be the same case. You have this, and you're trying to find this. This one's a little different, but it's still two angles and a side length. It's just not the opposite. You don't have that opposite pair. But you can easily find it, right? So in order to use the sine law, you'd need that angle, but you can easily find that angle just by subtracting from 180. So you don't have that pair that I'm talking about, but you do have enough information to easily find it. Then that's the sine law. So that's kind of a different case, but it's still two angles and one side. So two angles and one side, it's going to be the sine law. But again, like I said, if you just don't know,
well, that's okay. Just try one. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.